In this lesson, you will learn about using FortiManager for the central administration of all the FortiGate devices in an enterprise network. After completing this lesson, you will have the practical skills and knowledge required to review FortiManager key features, use FortiManager to centralize the management of the enterprise network, and use scripts to execute individualized configuration changes to FortiGates. Let's review FortiManager's key features. When should you use FortiManager in your network? In large enterprises and managed security service providers, MSSPs, the size of the network introduces challenges that smaller networks don't have. Doing mass provisioning, scheduling the rollout of configuration changes, and maintaining, tracking, and auditing many changes. Centralized management through FortiManager can help you easily manage many deployment types with many devices and reduce the cost of operation. You can use FortiManager to do the following: provision firewall policies across your network, act as a central repository for configuration revision control and security audits, deploy and manage complex mesh and star IPsec VPNs, act as a private FortiGuard distribution server, FDS, for your managed devices and FortiClient installations, and script in CLI and tool command language, and automate device provisioning, policy changes, and more with JSON APIs. FortiManager can help you to better organize and manage your network. Key features include centralized management. Instead of logging into hundreds of FortiGates individually, you can use FortiManager to manage them all from a single console. Administrative domains, ADOMs. FortiManager can group devices into geographic or functional ADOMs, ideal if you have a large team of network security administrators. Configuration revision control. Your FortiManager keeps a history of all configuration changes. You can schedule FortiManager to deploy a new configuration or revert managed devices to a previous configuration. Local FortiGuard service provisioning. To reduce network delays and minimize internet bandwidth usage, your managed devices can use FortiManager as a private FortiGuard distribution network, FDN, server. Firmware management. FortiManager can schedule firmware upgrades for the managed devices. Scripting. FortiManager supports CLI and TCL-based scripts for configuration deployments. Pane management, VPN, FortiAP, and FortiClient. FortiManager management panes simplify the deployment and administration of VPN, FortiAP, and FortiClient. Logging and reporting. Managed devices can store logs on FortiManager. From that log data, you can generate SQL-based reports because FortiManager has many of the same logging and reporting features as FortiAnalyzer. And pay-as-you-go licensing. Fortinet VMs are now available through the Fortinet VM On-Demand program. Let's take a look at FortiManager software architecture. Inside FortiManager, there are management layers that are represented as panes in the GUI. The device management layer, for example, is represented by the Device Manager pane, which performs revision history and scripting. Let's look at the management layers in further detail. To organize and efficiently manage a large-scale network, FortiManager has multiple management layers. The global ADOM layer has two key pieces: the Global Object Database and header and footer policy packages. header and footer policy packages envelop each of the ADOM's policies. An example of where policy packages are used is in a carrier environment, where the carrier allows customer traffic to pass through their network, but does not allow the customer to have access to the carrier's network infrastructure. The ADOM layer is where policy packages are created, managed, and installed on managed devices or device groups. Multiple policy packages can be created here. The ADOM layer includes one common object database for each ADOM. The common object database contains information such as addresses, services, and security profiles. The Device Manager layer records information on devices that are centrally managed by the FortiManager device, such as the name of the device, type of device, model, IP address, current firmware installed, revision history, and real-time status. Understanding the layers of FortiManager's management model is important. In the global ADOM layer, you create header and footer policy rules. These policy rules can be assigned to multiple ADOMs. If multiple ADOM policy packages require the same policies and objects, you can create them in this layer so that you don't have to maintain copies in each ADOM. In the ADOM layer, objects and policy packages in each ADOM share a common object database. You can create, import from, and install policy packages on many managed devices at once. In the Device Manager layer, you can configure and install device settings for each device. If a configuration change is detected, made locally or on FortiManager, FortiManager compares the current configuration to the changed configuration and creates a new configuration revision on FortiManager. Whether the configuration change is big or small, FortiManager records it and saves the new configuration. This can help administrators to audit configuration changes and to revert to a previous revision if required. What is an ADOM? Administrative domains, ADOMs, enable the admin administrator to create groupings of devices for administrators to monitor and manage. For example, administrators can manage devices specific to their geographic location or business division. ADOMs are not enabled by default and must be enabled by the administrator. The purpose of ADOMs is to divide the administration of devices by grouping them based on management criteria and to control or restrict administrative access. Administrative access is assigned based on an administrator profile that allows access to one or multiple ADOMs on the device. If virtual domains, VDOMs, are used, ADOMs can further restrict access to data from only a specific device's VDOM. The number of available ADOMs varies based on model. The Device Manager pane provides device and installation wizards to aid you in various administrative and maintenance tasks. Using these wizards can decrease the amount of time it takes to do many common tasks. There are 4 main wizards in the Device Manager pane. Add Device is used to add devices to central management and import their configurations. Install Wizard is used to install configuration changes from the Device Manager pane or Policies and Objects pane to the managed devices. It allows you to preview the changes and, if the administrator doesn't agree with the changes, cancel or modify them. Import Policy is used to import interface mapping, policy database, and objects associated with the managed devices into a policy package under the Policy and Object pane. It runs with the Add Device wizard by default and may be run at any time from the Managed Device list. Reinstall Policy is used to perform a quick install of the policy package. It provides the ability to preview the changes that will be installed to the managed device. You can open the Import Policy and Reinstall Policy wizards by right-clicking your managed device in the Device Manager. Let's take a look at the scripting options that are available in FortiManager. A script can make many changes to a managed device and is useful for bulk configuration changes and consistency across multiple managed devices. FortiManager supports two types of scripts: CLI scripts and TCL scripts. CLI scripts include only FortiOS CLI commands, as they are entered at the command line prompt on a FortiGate device. TCL, or TCL, is a dynamic scripting language that extends the functionality of CLI scripting. In FortiManager TCL scripts, the first line of the script is the pound symbol followed by an exclamation mark. This is standard TCL script. Do not include the exit command that normally ends TCL scripts, because it will prevent the script from running. You need to be familiar with the TCL language and regular expressions. For more information on TCL scripts, please refer to the official TCL website, which is found at http://www.tcl.tk. In FortiManager's GUI, scripts are enabled under Admin Settings and configured from the Device Manager. For TCL scripts, you also need to enable Show Command for TCL scripts from the FortiManager CLI. CLI scripts can be run in three different ways. 1. Device Database. By default, a script is executed on the device database. It is recommended you run the changes on the device database, which is the default setting, as this allows you to check what configuration changes you will send to the managed device. Once scripts are run on the device database, you can install these changes to the managed device using the installation wizard. 2. Policy Package, ADOM Database. If a script contains changes related to ADOM level objects and policies, you can change the default selection to run on Policy Package, ADOM Database, and can then be installed using the installation wizard. 3. Remote FortiGate directly through CLI. A script can be executed directly on the device, and you don't need to install these changes using the installation wizard. As the changes are directly installed on the managed device, no option is provided to verify and check the configuration changes through FortiManager prior to executing it. This is how you can execute a CLI command from a TCL script. Any TCL script must start with the pound symbol followed by an exclamation mark. The next line, exec TCL, executes the CLI command get system status. The CLI command executes only if the TCL interpreter gets the pound from the FortiGate command prompt within 10 seconds. If this is not the case, the CLI command is not executed, and the script generates an error. The output of the CLI command is saved to the FortiManager script history log using the TCL command puts. This slide shows an example of using TCL variables. The TCL set command creates a new variable, new host name, and sets its value to ngfw. The value of the variable is then used, prepending the $, to configure the FortiGate hostname. If you are executing a command or a group of commands multiple times in a script, you can add those commands to a TCL procedure for simplification. You can pass one or more parameters to a TCL procedure. In this example, we are creating a TCL procedure called do_cmd. This procedure instructs the interpreter to execute a CLI command received through the perimeter CMD if the pound is received within 10 seconds. After that, the script calls that procedure 5 times, each time passing a different perimeter to configure the IP address in port 1. This is a more complex TCL example that shows the power of TCL scripts. Let's say that you have 150 hosts in your network, and you need to create 150 different firewall addresses, one for each of your hosts. This TCL script uses a loop to do that. The script uses 2 variables. The variable numHosts contains the number of addresses to create. The variable I starts with a value 1 and is incremented after each loop. The loop is executed a number of times equal to the variable numHosts. Inside each loop, the variable I is used to set the name of the firewall address and its IP address. What is actually executed in FortiGate are the following CLI commands: config firewall address, edit host -1, set subnet 10.0.1.1/32. Next, edit host -2, set subnet 10.0.1.2/32. Next, and so on until the last entry, edit host -150, set subnet 10.0.1.150/32. Next, end. When creating CLI scripts, follow these best practices. Use complete FortiOS CLI commands. Partial syntax can be used, however, it may cause the script to fail. Comment lines that start with a number sign or the pound symbol will not execute. In the FortiGate CLI, ensure the console output is set to standard. Otherwise, scripts and other output longer than a screen in length will not execute or display correctly. In this lesson, we reviewed FortiManager key features, FortiManager architecture, scripts, and FortiManager wizards.